new face of homelessness, a child. We've got no place for them to go safely as a family. The sweeps apply to them too. It's unconscionable to treat children like that. It's also dangerous, and it's going to cost more in the future to not fix it than it is to fix it.
The issue of people without homes is much worse where we're standing here in Kaka'ako.
I want solutions now, okay? Does anybody have a better one than my guerrilla battlefield tactic? I like your idea better than me getting arrested.
I kind of like you getting arrested, but we may not have the $200 to bring you back.
No, I'm going in with bad money.
5 years ago, I had a House resolution. I believe the state should have campsites to allow people to camp. Currently, there's like an unofficial law that government knows that people are camping here.
Right.
They just won't have a formal policy. So we don't have the amenities of a bathroom and
running water.
Safety running water. Maybe until people begin to camp out on the lawn at the state capitol, some in government may not take the homelessness crisis as serious as it needs to be taken. So anything that, could be done to provide a better, until housing comes, a better opportunity to camp, I think government should provide.
So the idea obviously is a shelter for families only. And I'm under the impression that what keeps so many of these people out of the shelters is rules. They can't force you to go to a shelter. So if you really want a family and the next generation of these kids to go to a shelter, you're going to have to build one that is accommodating to them. We live large here in the sense that people sweep, people keep it clean, people don't smoke ice, they don't do methamphetamine. I've never seen them getting drunk. Their children are taken care of, although they do play in the street. That is their front yard.
The irony here is that state and city government know that people are camping here, and why aren't they providing more services or willing to admit that we need a place for people to camp and provide that support?
Well, I think it has to do something with compassionate intervention, in the sense that if they take everything you have, they will do you a big favor and get you to go into a shelter.
Especially when the city is not offering hearings or retrieval processes for 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks out. Like, how do you go to that job interview? You've got nothing, again.
Don't you think that part of the reason why we're here is because the city and the state don't have enough shelters to shelter?
Not even
Absolutely
close.
right.
That's true.
And
not even
so
close to the number.
What we find in our church, when people come, they said there are two things. They said, it's safer for us to stay here on the street.
Yes.
It's cleaner than me going over there and get the bed bugs, and then they come and they're sick.
This is not rocket science. And I don't know the city council and the mayor if they read or they're aware, but they haven't been paying attention to the human needs.
And then when they tell us they have a waiting time for them, in the meantime, what do? Sleep on the street? And so therefore, we're pushing people away.
Yes.
And then creating laws to making it harder and harder for them.
There are approximately 10,000 houseless people on the island of Oahu, and there are approximately 850 beds on any given night, 600 of which are claimed already when morning starts. So there's 9,300 people looking to find looking to get into 250 beds, if they're even willing to try to, if they even feel safe. All right,
so
and comfortable.
The short answer is yes, there's not enough room.
Yeah, not even close.
Not even close. And they have waiting lists for the family.
If you look closely, I feel that state and city government hadn't taken the issue of homelessness really seriously until just recently. We should have been doing all these things 5 years ago. If we do something and it doesn't work out, we move on to the next thing.
To make this happen, they've been blah blind, and they've been meeting in this courtroom and meeting that study and doing this and that. Okay, fine. It's a huge issue. It's so complex. This guy was a shopping cart. This kid is not a complex issue. Kid needs water, needs a toilet, make sure they got food, a way to get to school, and live in an environment where they're not threatened to be ran over by a semi-trailer 24 hours a day. Not to mention,
you got all this junk off the street. No, you got school books, you got toys, you got food, you got medication, and people are dying because of it.
Those
It's
people,
absurd.
they're so stressed out. They even hang themselves. We've had that happen. So this has to stop. I'm sorry.
okay, so you're talking to a guy that has PTSD for doing it, because I spent too long in the tent. I spent 4 nights. And when I went home to my nice home on the 5th night, I woke myself up screaming out of a nightmare, and that never happened to me, and I kept 20 years or more. That's stress.
Welcome to the club.
That's a stress for some from just 4 nights. I'm not going out to get an ice pipe, but these kids might. Is it's
After
not 4
4
nights,
years,
it's 4
5
weeks,
years.
4 months, 4 years. There's a 4-week-old in there that boy's home from day one was a tent on the sidewalk.
There's 5 copies of the claim form to retrieve property that is taken in raids.
And with the rents, $2,000 and $3,000, who the hell really has that?
So to give to families out there that have had their property taken and not returned, that's the claim form to get
Don't
it
they
back.
have to have $200 as well?
No.
There's
not
an
for
administrative hearing process that you can go through. You can put in all your financials to try to get the fee waived. It's not guaranteed.
They haven't swept these guys in a while,
And-
so Lester, do you know
and
how
all
long
of-
it's been?
Since you actually put the tent up.
And all necessities are supposed to be, all quote-unquote necessities. We don't have a definition for that from the courts.
I'm giving...
But all quote-unquote necessities are supposed to be returned with no payment whatsoever.
How about if we take the kids and take the tents down to City Hall?
No, because they'll get her... What do you mean to City Hall? On the sidewalk?
On the
No,
sidewalk.
you actually. I have successfully gotten permission from the mayor's office, had tents out on the front lawn while testimony was going on. We did an overnight. It is absolutely possible. They would not refuse me that.
I like that.
There really aren't a lot of precedents around the country where people have actually accomplished something very concrete, very affirmative. Could it happen here? Maybe. Should it not happen here? I think the lawyers should be involved, and I think they ought to be filing suits for what's going on here.
So far I've seen one guy die in the car first night here, several people arrested, a guy with a crossbow chasing the guy with a machete, a guy with a spear gun going after somebody, and these kids don't even, they're smiling, this is their day-to-day life.
But the fact of the matter is, ultimately, it's a legislative matter. It's the legislature that needs to solve the problem, that needs to repeal bad old laws, create good new laws, solve the issue.
I'm not going to let this go until these kids have been recognized as the face of homelessness, and that when the city and county and the ledge starts writing up new laws and plans, that the first thing they consider is a family. And then we'll worry about these poor salvageable or unsalvageable individuals. But let's take care of these kids. It's just... God, let me see your dress.
Oh, you are so pretty.
Don't be shy. That's the face of homelessness. Okay. The bottom line being, these children have now got to come first, and this is the new face of homelessness in Hawaii. You all know that I've got these fake time. Why can't the city and county and the compassionate society that we live in first take the first step? Did you get involved with this, John?
I heard your radio show. I never had much interest in the homeless issue. I saw what you were doing, and I sent you an email just to say good work. And then you called me back and said, nobody ever sends emails telling me I'm doing good work. Why don't you come down and see what's going on?
That's cute. Thank you.